tour both began and ended at the Hawksbill Resort where we were staying. From there we went to Stingray City and I swam with the stingrays for a while, which is really cool. And then from there we went to the Devil's Bridge National Park. It's got a rock formation there that's kind of cool. The water jets up through. Shirley Heights was next after that. It's a lookout that looks over English Harbour, which was our next destination, and there you'll find Nelson's Dockyard. So we walked around there for a little bit, and then we went to Jolly Harbour, had a late lunch, and then back to the Hawksbill. So that was a full day. We left the resort about 10 and got back at I think it was around 4:30. So the loop you see there is 100 kilometers roughly. Antigua's not a big island, and the drive time is 3 hours, and that total trip time was 6.5 hours. The cost was $80 US per person, and that did not include lunch. Stingray City is the first stop that we did that day. We got picked up about 10 o'clock in the morning at a resort. The Hawksbill was about a 40 to 45 minute drive to the grounds. You're going to drive near St. John's Harbour. You'll be able to see the cruise ships from there. Along the way, you'll see lots of colorful buildings in the countryside. You'll drive by the Sir Vivian Richards Cricket Stadium, and eventually you're going to end up here at Stingray City. The grounds are located on the northeast side of the island. We did a video on this excursion, and I'll share the link at the end of this video for it. But when you get there, you're going to pay your admission fee, which is $50 US. That's going to give you a 10-15 minute orientation, for lack of better words, on how to handle yourself around these creatures and how to treat them respectfully. And after that, you're going to go out, you're going to do your excursion. You get about an hour, hour and a half, and then you get your boat trip back in, and you get a free drink. Rum punch is what I had. I think you had two options. I couldn't tell you what the other one was. Drink was okay. The grounds themselves, they've got some places you can eat, snacks and stuff like that. We didn't do that. We were just starting out our day and had just had breakfast. You're going to have the opportunity to feed these things, and I suggest you do it. These squids are a little bit slimy, but it's kind of a cool experience. I'll explain that more in our video. But here you can see one of our friends trying to feed one. Not everybody enjoys it, as you can see. This lady didn't touch the ground for about 15 minutes, but they finally got her calmed down, and she was participating after that. For those of you that didn't bring a camera or a GoPro, you can get your picture taken from the staff. A lot of people lined up to take a picture with holding a stingray. That seemed to be pretty popular. One thing's for certain though, if you do go on this excursion, you're going to be up close and personal with these things. They'll be bumping into you. There's not like one or two, there's like 30 of them. At least it was when we were there. And I think that was probably a good representation of what you're going to see based on what the chat I had with the captain of the boat. Our group was fairly fortunate that when we went, we were the only boat there at the floating docks when we got there, so the water wasn't stirred up much. It was very clear. You had all the stingrays to yourselves as a group. As by the time we left, I think there was 3 boats there, and it definitely was a lot busier. So maybe go early in the morning if you can. For $50, this is easily the best excursion I've ever done, especially underwater. I highly recommend it. The animals are treated with respect. They come and go as they please. You'll spend about an hour there, like I said, I think earlier, and then you'll take your boat back to the complex. You'll get your free drink, and you can hang out there for a bit. They got showers and washrooms, and then you'll call it a day.
Devil's Bridge is a really cool, really beautiful natural phenomenon, best viewed when the sea is choppy, which is when you'll see the waves at the full effect. The area around the arch features several natural blowholes which shoot up water and spray. It's powered by the waves from the ocean. Devil's Bridge is the most northeastern point of the island, and it's outside of the village of Wilkies. It's a massive limestone arch formed by seawater erosion and waves. This natural landmark is as beautiful a place as it is tragic, as it is rumored to have been the site of mass suicides of slaves during the slavery times. There's nothing between there and Africa other than the ocean. It is said they would go there to commit suicide because it was the closest point to their homeland. There are a few small shacks there where you can buy a drink, a snack, or some souvenirs. We didn't go over to them. The local vendors yelled at us to come over, but a quick maybe later or no thanks, and they were fine. They weren't pushy at all. It is really something to see, and I do admit I did feel a bit on edge walking around there, taking it all in, thinking of the power of the ocean, the crashing waves, and the heartbreaking past of this site.
Our next stop is at Shirley Heights. It was a lookout that was built in the 1780s by Sir Thomas Shirley, who was governor of the Leeward Islands at the time. The British Empire lost a lot of the islands out there in the West Indies, and they did what they could to try to protect the last two they had, which were Antigua and Barbuda. So that was the purpose for building this lookout. It's about 490 feet off the ground, and it's got excellent 360-degree views. You can see Falmouth Bay, English Harbour, good view of Eric Clapton's house across the one bay. And yeah, you can see why they chose this strategically for a lookout. You can see people coming from a mile away. It's ridiculous. But the views are stunning. They're known as the best views in Antigua. And on Sunday nights, they have a big party there from 4 till 10 with local music, food. You can watch the sunset there. We didn't get to do that. We didn't realize that was going on until after we'd spent our Sunday that week. It's a good idea to research online ahead before you go somewhere. At the party, they got drinks and barbecue, live music, like I said. If you're going to go, maybe just circle that day on the calendar. And just when you think you've seen it all, here's a random cactus growing out of a brick wall. Well, the views are beautiful there. There are other things to see. There's a bunch of ruins there from when it was a fort. You can walk around, check those out. If you have a guide, they'll tell you a little bit more about them. We didn't really have a guide. I can kind of get into that a bit later. This is me just kind of walking the perimeter of the wall, just try to get a feel for what they would have been seeing back in the 1700s. It's kind of neat that some of the stuff's still standing considering how long it was built. Some of it's been rehabbed, but a lot of the stuff has not been touched. Funny thing is, in Canada, there'd be guardrails all around this stuff. You wouldn't get close to the sides. There'd be no way. They'd have security guards in the whole bit, but you got pretty much free reign here. Just act like an adult. Pick up after yourself. Anything you bring in, bring out. Lots of stuff to see. Old cannons. I never get sick of looking at the ships, but we had a good afternoon there. We spent probably about an hour before moving on to our next destination.
Nelson's Dockyard is a UNESCO World Heritage Site located on English Harbour. It is part of the Nelson's Dockyard National Park. The cost to get in is $8 US and includes entry to all sites, including Shirley Heights and Dow's Hill. Fully restored in the 50s, the 18th and 19th century buildings of the Dockyard house many modern amenities like the museum, shops, art galleries, restaurants, hotels, and other marina-related businesses. Many amazing boats in the dockyard, the beautiful harbor, the historic buildings and artifacts you get to see, the amazing grounds, and the unforgettable views will make you definitely want to bring your camera here. We spent a lot of time there despite the heat, and we didn't spend any money other than the admission. We just walked around looking at the countless interesting and beautiful things. There is one of the few bank machines that we saw all week in the plaza there. However, it said out of service when we first tried to use my bank card. Eric's card did work on our way out, and we tried again, but we didn't have the best grip on the East Caribbean dollar, and didn't take out near enough, considering one East Caribbean dollar is only worth 37 cents US. It seemed a decent rate at that bank though, but our bank here in Canada charged us a fee to withdrawal as well as the fee through that bank. I wasn't overly excited to go here, thinking it would maybe be pretty boring, but after going, I now think it is a must-do on anyone's visit to Antigua.
Back on the west side of the island, we went to Jolly Harbour to a restaurant called the Sea Dream. There's a bakery there as well and a bar. We had a couple cocktails and a late lunch. There's nice views there from your table. From reading other reviews too, it looks like this bar gets pretty busy on the weekends and they have live music. We ordered a couple mojitos. We've been craving them and it's the first ones that we had in Antigua and they're actually quite tasty. So if you enjoy a couple cocktails like we do at Beach Bumbling or a couple beers, you're definitely going to want to come down to this place around happy hour. Do your wallet a favor. You got to save your money where you can. It's near the Seaside Grill here in Jolly Harbour. Got a beer, a jalapeno burger, fries, and what's that called?
The Miami.
And what's in it?
It's like a turkey pop, kind of. With avocado.
Looks like an elephant here with fruit in it. It's huge. Fries are really good. I haven't had the burger, part of the burger yet, but I'll let you know how much stuff this costs. We got 2 mojitos too. Yeah, I'm not sure how much those cost. We just wanted one really bad, so we ordered it. Anyway, so far it's been pretty good. The service is really good here. Got a little bit of a view of the harbor, where to sit. And if you're interested, there's also a pool. Swim a little crab. We didn't pay for that, we're just paying for lunch. The jalapeno burger tasted great. It was cooked perfect. It was nice and juicy. Bun was nice and soft. It cost 40 Eastern Caribbean dollars or about 15 bucks US or about 19 bucks Canadian. One thing to be aware of and to be paying attention to, it's written on the menu, so shame on us. We did notice there's already a 10% service charge on there for tips, so we ended up tipping twice, once with cash at the end as well. So to do a quick recap, we had 2 mojitos, 2 beers, a burger and fries, 1 huge Miami sandwich, and a rum punch. And that totals 167 Eastern Caribbean dollars roughly, or $62 US, or 80 bucks Canadian. So definitely not a cheap lunch, not what we're expecting to pay. I wish I had the itemized receipt for you. That 80.42 Canadian is what was charged to our credit card. So they do take cards there. But that also included it to be converted into US dollars, and then our bank hit us again for Canadian dollars. So you might want to pay in US funds or in Eastern Caribbean dollars to save yourself some coin. As I was saying before, there is a pool there. You can get lounger for the day as well and hang out there. There's a beach nearby, Jolly Beach. We covered that in our boat trip around Antigua. And place is decorated fairly nice. It was we were there right before Christmas, so they actually had some Christmas decorations scattered about the place. And on the way in and out, there's lots of flowers and things. So if you're into that, you can check that out on the way in. But super expensive lunch. Wouldn't do that again probably. But Antigua is an expensive island. So lunch at Jolly Harbour was the last stop of the day. We'd be making our way back to the Hawksbill where we started. So to give you a breakdown of the day, it was, and all these costs will be in US dollars just to keep it simple. It was 80 bucks a piece for the tour itself and the driver. It was 50 bucks for me to do the Stingray City. 8 bucks a piece to do Shirley Heights and Nelson's Dockyard, so $16 total for that. $62 US for food and drink at the Sea Dreams, and then another $5 US for our over tip. And $5 for snacks, which was a couple alcoholic drinks and a pop. All total, that's $298 US for the day. We were gone from 10 in the morning till 4:30 in the afternoon, so a 6.5 hour day. When I was in the water at Stingray City, Karen went and got a couple drinks and a pop for the driver as well. And then he had a nap for like an hour. Just kind of left her there sitting by herself for an hour. But which kind of brings me to the next point. We booked through the activities director at the Hawksbill Resort. Probably saved a little bit of money there, but well, I think you should go to these places. Every one of them's worth a look. I would maybe not do it through that person. So if you want more specifics on that, I don't really want to share them in this video, but I'll share them with you on our Instagram or Facebook if you have any questions or want to know why maybe that didn't work out so well. We'll let you know there. But like I said, the places, you should check every one of these out. Stingray City was amazing. For me, that's a must-do if you're coming to Antigua, and if you only did one thing, that would be the thing I would recommend that you do. Nelson's Dockyard was really cool to walk around. We found lots of things to look at there. It was pretty interesting. You can spend a lot of money there eating and doing stuff too, but we tried to keep the cost down a little bit today. Now let's not forget the views from Shirley Heights. They're amazing. Devil's Bridge is also worth the drive to check that out. So all these things we would recommend you do. How you get there, we don't care. If you're one of those people that doesn't like getting off the resort, here's a couple reasons to do that in Antigua, and we hope you learned a couple things from this. If you liked the video, please give it a like below. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. Hit the bell if you want to be notified when we make a new video. All these things help us grow our channel. Drop a comment below or a question if you have one. And you can also get a hold of us on our Instagram and Facebook beach bumbling pages. That'll be linked in the video description. There'll be more videos coming your way. Until next time, cheers.